I don't know anyone now. To get or not, the future. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, you got it. Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you today to this press statement. It is an abrupt function that has been necessitated by the outcome of the court ruling today. As DMTL defending MDC Changirai legacy, we have just a pressure group that has been fighting to restore justification within MDC. And our mandate is clear that we are working to make a restoration of democracy, constitutionalism within MDC. Whereupon you are all aware that MDC has gone wayward, and we are here to make a brief statement to the outcome of the court. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance to this impromptu press conference. We welcome you all, and we are happy that we are talking to all Zimbabweans and the world at large on the events which have been necessitated by the court ruling and relating to the MDC party. It has been pronounced today, the 8th of May, 2019, at the High Court of Zimbabwe, that the MDC as a party must revert to its constitutional and provisions, policies, and mandates as enshrined in the MDC constitution. We as a pressure group, we do hereby welcome the decision to bring fairness, justice, constitutionalism, and democracy within the MDC, and to fight against tyranny, violence, and all those kind of things which the MDC was becoming known for. It is of paramount importance and concern that all political parties align themselves to the dictates of democracy and constitutionalism. The effort by DMTL was meant to address the fundamental founding values and principles of the party as enshrined in the party constitution, particularly that which relates to the succession of the presidency as stipulated in section 9.21.1. It is true that the MDC, led by our icon Morgan Tsvangirai, had lost its direction, policies, and practices through the use of unconstitutional means, nepotism, violence, tyranny, and dictatorship. We are very pleased with the outcome of this legal exercise, which we actually raised in our first press conference, that we are going to take a legal action, and which in fact has resulted in the High Court decision today. We are happy that we have succeeded on the legal front. Many other issues are still outstanding, which may be outside the provisions of the legal system, and these are going to follow in terms of our last press conference. If you remember, those who were able to actually attend our press conference, we did intimate on a number of issues which we felt the party must actually address and follow. The need for an extraordinary Congress is paramount in order for us to elect a legitimate replacement for Morgan Richard Tsvangirai, and that must be done as a matter of priority. We were totally against a situation where somebody just out of his own will and outside the dictates of the Constitution, which actually founded the MDC, for a person to just say, to claim that he is the leader of the party. But now we are very happy that the courts found it necessary to rule in our favor. We are still studying the court ruling in order to come up with a more comprehensive response and statement to the press sooner rather than later. There are many issues which actually arise out of this court decision, which we want to study and ensure that actually we come up with a comprehensive report, and also report to our structures where the MDC should actually be going, and we are going to do that. It's a very big task, and I would like to assure you that we will not be found wanting. I thank you.
Are there any questions? We are open for some questions. Those who want to know much. Yes, my friend.
Thank you so much. My name is Leo Munenda. I'm from newzimbabwe.com. My question is, what's next after this? Besides the extraordinary Congress, the MDC party says it does not recognize you.
Well, I don't know who the MDC party is, which you are referring to. But first of all, let me say that initially, Chamisa had actually thought that he was going to have an ordinary Congress in in October, but it's due to our pressure that actually he decided to have an ordinary Congress in May this month, and has actually taken, has actually done congresses lower down structures. That was due to our pressure. So if you say that they don't recognize us, I'm not sure whether we are at one. We are members of the MDC, and we are talking to our party, and we've got every right to talk to our party. That's number one. The second part of your question, the first part of your question, as to what is going to happen, we did intimate in the penultimate statement, which you are making today, that we are going to do an audit of the structures of the MDC to see what the what Chamisa, what effect with, Chamisa is actually, what damages he has actually caused to our structures, and then go back and see what remains of those structures. And then once we have established what remains, we then go on to doing an extraordinary Congress. And after that, in terms of our constitution, this year, we are going to have an ordinary Congress as required by the constitution, which stipulates that we have an ordinary Congress every 5 years. That is what we're talking about.
Maybe let me add a bit. Advocate Nelson Chamisa will never recognize anyone. And for DMTL as a pressure group, we are not very much into craving for any recognition from him. He's someone whom we know. And he has got nobody between himself and God. And therefore he will never recognize anyone. This is the same reason why he refused to recognize his own constitution for the party. He refused to recognize the structure for the party. He went on to merge with the G40 and the other cabals in the party without mandate from the extraordinary Congress, without mandate from the members of the party. This therefore signifies the relevance that Chamisa will never recognize anyone. And therefore, we are not here to be recognized by him. We are just a pressure group. We will continue to fight. Our main duty here is to ensure that MDC reverts to its constitutionalism and legacy and the founding values and principles of the party upon which it was founded. And as a result, as DMTR, we will continue to monitor, to see to it that everything is effected. We are still on the ground, and we continue to move around, to mobilize people, to conscientize people, to raise awareness to the community, to say, look, the MDC which you want to put into power, it is similar to the party that Mugabe had in the previous government. We cannot replace Mugabe with another Mugabe. We want a perfect democracy in MDC. The problem with the Zimbabweans is that they forget. They build a caricature. They build a person whom they will, in the future, look upon as someone who is bad. But if you look by 1980, what happened to Mugabe? It is us Zimbabweans, we built the same Mugabe. And later on, he became too autocratic to the extent that he went on to destroy the farms, to destroy education, to destroy industries. But we are looking at it. But when you come here to talk to the nation, to the world, we are not mad. We are trying to enlighten the community to say, no, we want a perfect democracy. We are not hating Chamisa, but we are saying he has gone wayward. He has become too autocratic. He is not consulting the structures. He is not consulting party members. He is not following the constitution. This is where we are. If he follows the constitution, we will accept. If you want to go to the extraordinary Congress, people must vote for him. He must come in the ring right now. He must not make even an appeal to this because he has no mandate, legal mandate. The constitution is clear. There are no provisions for the vice president. There are no provisions for him to become the president. And then if he is, for sure, if he has got in his bag as he purpose 2.6 million votes and he is supported by the people, let him follow the channel. Let him go to the extraordinary Congress. The same people vote for him. Why is he rejecting? That's where we are now. That's where we differ.
And then the fact that MDC President Nelson Chamisa got 13 out of 13 nominations within the party, which you say structures are not constitutional. He's not being constitutional, but it seems like 13 of the 13 MDC provinces have endorsed his presidency for his Congress on 24 to 26 May.
We have rejected those, and the court, I must say, has also done the same. We have rejected the processes which came up with the structures which we are talking about. And we know that in coming up with those structures, there was a lot of unmitigated violence. We know that those elections or those congresses were done at night, and there was a lot of ballot stuffing and all sorts of things, which is not consistent with the tenets of democracy. And we are saying that those are now in void. And if he says he has been elected by the people whom he put in those are his own people. That's why we talked about nepotism and all these kind of things. And a party which purports to be a democratic party cannot accept that kind of thing. We are saying that we have got to do these things properly, the way we have been doing before, and we want to do that. That is the purpose of what we are talking about at this particular point in time. So we don't accept what you call his nominations from 13 provinces. Those are nominations from his own people, and that doesn't constitute the party which we call the MDC.
To add to that, the 13 out of 13 votes were manufactured. Maybe I can give you a simple analysis. In Masvingo, we have got 7 provinces that were not allowed to participate in the Congress. In Mashonaland, sorry, 7 districts. In Mashonaland Central, the whole leadership, which was incumbent, did not participate in the election. In short, the venue which was booked in Bindura was short-changed overnight, and they were told to come to Harare, but they've got their own province. Why in Harare? Because they had some vanguard people at the gate who were going to allow people to participate, to enter into the voting room. So most people did not participate, they did not come. In fact, they are crying for that. They've written some appeals to say, no, this was unfair, but nothing has happened. It's not only Mashonaland Central. If you also go to Bulawayo, it's the same. You heard about the court case in Bulawayo? It is something which is endemic throughout the whole country. You can also talk about Manicaland. You also talk about Midlands. In Midlands, some people who try to nominate other candidates were beaten up. Here in Highfields, we have got Mr. Banda. He was beaten up, the chairman of the constituency, Highfield West. He was beaten up for holding an opinion that is contrary to Chamisa. Everyone was chete. We don't want chete syndrome. We want to have a party. We are about the principles of the party. It's a system that we want to set, not the personalities. We don't want to set a person just like we did to Mugabe. We set the person of Mugabe, and some people took him as a semi-god. And look where we went now. So we are saying we want some checks and balances. Chamisa is a human being. He must be controlled by us, the people. He must be controlled by the citizens. He must affiliate to the wills of the people. Now, the mandate of the people was not done. People were beaten up. There was violence. He buzzed people from one province to another to do the voting. And in each case, he was monitoring each and every voting system. I never saw Mugen Changrai moving around the province to get some nomination. He was there. Some elections were done at night. In Binga, they were done at night. He was bullied in Binga by the people. They were not happy about it. So in Victoria Falls, where he went, and he tried to rig the election during his presence. In Gweru, the election was done at night. Election could take 3 days to do an election. But he went on to blame ZEC for that same manner. The ways Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF are doing is the same that he has progressed into MDC. And there's no locus standi to attack ZANU-PF when you do the same scenario. So we must be quite a different democracy, not similar to what Mugabe is. You cannot blame Mugabe and Mnangagwa for the same mistake which you are doing. In fact, we have seen some strategies and tactics that are employed by ZANU-PF now in MDC. The beating up of people. There's no freedom in the party. There's no constitutionalism in the party. And there's busing of people. It seems Chamisa is being coached by someone who is a big guru for ZANU-PF, a G40. And all the tactics are now here. People are now afraid in MDC. You cannot say anything against Chamisa. You cannot say anything against your party or for your party in MDC today. This is what we are fighting against now. We want to revert to democracy. If Chamisa is a Democrat, he must not continue to quarrel. Let him follow this extraordinary Congress to replace Morgan Changrai only. And then he will call for ordinary Congress in October. This is constitutional in the dictates of the Constitution. That's where we are. We like him, let him come. If he has got people, let him enter into the Congress.
Yes.
My name is Lucy Yassini. I'm a freelance journalist. Should Chamisa defy the court ruling, what will be your next move?
That's well. We assume that Chamisa is a legal practitioner, and because he's a legal practitioner, he should respect the decisions of the court. if we are now talking about contempt of court, I think the legal provisions which follow people who, or which are attended to people who don't take seriously what the court rulings are well known throughout Zimbabwe. So those will take their own course. So it's not for us to be the policeman of the High Court or anything. That's not our job. But like I said before, or like we said before, we are fighting on two fronts, from a legal position, from a legal front, and from a political front. And if you're talking about a political front, we do have issues and things and practices and programs which we are undertaking at the present moment to ensure that the party goes back to its original founders. And that's what we're talking about. And those who want to join the MDC, there are provisions within the Constitution for that to actually happen. There are rules which need to be followed. We can't have a situation where somebody comes from another party, as the G40, for example. The G40 we have been fighting against to actually become the decision maker in the MDC. That is not permissible within the constitution which we actually uphold. We are saying there is a provision for him or for those kind of people to be rehabilitated, for them to know what actually happens, what are the rules and what is the culture of MDC. And that takes time. It's not something that can be done overnight. So we are saying that we do have provisions, we do have programs which we are actually putting together. We are going around the country talking to our structures, and fortunately, if I should say so, most of our members, the bulk of our members, do understand where you're coming from, they support us.
Would you say that the party has enough resources to hold the extraordinary Congress, which I believe should be done before 8 or 9 June, is it? And the other Congress in October?
Well, I can say that they don't have any money. Let me say I'm not the spokesperson for the party, and I cannot talk about party resources and whether it's adequate or inadequate. That is not my role. But all I'm trying to say is that we made a commitment when we accepted that constitution that certain things must be done, and those two things which we are talking about are in fact procedures which must be followed, and they have to be followed.
And to add to that, where there is zeal, there's always the way. From as far as we are aware, most MDC members, the MDC does not have money as a party on its own, because it's not a manufacturing company. It is just a social grouping. So it is affiliated to by ordinary members of the party. The people whom we are seeing here, right here, they've come by their own resources, some working and the like. So if given the time, if people were to be informed, with or without the money, the Congress must go on. An idea cannot be stopped because of resources or money. It must be done. It will be implemented. People are ready to come. We have seen quite a number of people who sold their own resources, the cattle, the whatever form of beasts and the other resources, in order to make sure the party progresses forward. So people want the party. The issue of money must be out. The extraordinary must be carried on. It's not all about the money, but the idea.
And it's a people's project. It is a people's project. So people will fund their own party. So don't worry about whether it's going to happen. It will happen. But there must be a will to do it. That's what we're talking about.
We're just coming from a press conference at the Harvest House, and the other grouping is saying they are going ahead with their Congress this month in May. What would be your take on that?
We will continue to say Chamisa will continue to violate the constitution. He doesn't respect his own constitution, neither does he respect the laws of the country. He doesn't respect the constitution of the country. And therefore, we expect that he can do that. Anything can come from Chamisa. He's someone whose mind is very unpredictable. He's someone whom you doubt his integrity, his credibility, his leadership, and his advocacy as a lawyer. And you know, MDC has got more than 21 lawyers. And I wonder why those people are failing to read the Constitution. They read it upside down. Some of them appear as though they did not go to school. I wonder why they failed to advise this young man. The young man being a lawyer, he must be reading the Constitution upside down. I think he needs to go back to school. He seems not to understand what are the provisions in the Constitution. I'm not a lawyer myself. I'm not a lawyer, but I can easily interpret the Constitution, what it says. I always say even a burial community or society has got a Constitution, which it follows. A burial, a football club, a simple boozer club has got a Constitution which must be followed. But he cannot follow his own Constitution. But he wants to pull all Zimbabweans to follow him. Where does he want to take us to? Where? We cannot go to a desert with him. He's someone who has failed his own Constitution. And what more, if we entrust his leadership into to the whole nation, to all people who are in the rural areas of Zimba, Marange, Mwenezi, and everyone. People are looking to a solution. They are looking to better leadership. They are looking not to just populism, but to democracy that is ushered in with the principles and systems that are perfect in a society. That is what we want. If people were to follow him, it is at their own peril. But we cannot make noise to say we are going wrong. It will be at their peril. But we know this guy because we've stayed with him. We know him, we don't hate him. Just like you can see, he's not following the Constitution. Let him follow the Constitution, then we go.
In addition to that, just to buttress the points which have been raised, I would like to take you back to the situation of the national elections and the challenges which were made against the results of the Constitution. We know that Chamisa took Zek to the High Court, to the Constitutional Court. Chamisa did not accept the ruling of the Constitutional Court. We know that. It's in his GN. I don't know, perhaps that's the way he was born. He doesn't accept, even though he is a lawyer by profession, and also the fact that he is also a pastor. He does not take seriously what the people say, what the law courts say, and he can do anything. He can continue. But the fact of the matter is that it was decided by the Constitutional Court that he did not win the election. And he is not the president of this country. There are rules and regulations which must be followed. And that's what we are talking about. We are talking about following the rules and regulations. Just imagine having somebody like that entrusting a country's constitution to somebody who abrogates it willy-nilly as he wants. What will happen to us as citizens of this country? Is just that dangerous. He is a dangerous person. That's why we called him Cyclone Chamisa, because that's what he does. He destroys. So we'll see.
And if Chamisa were to continue with the Congress, that is his own Congress. That is not the MDC that was left by Morgan Tsvangirai Congress. That follows the Constitution. We are aware he has made his own party. We are aware that he has built a new formation with all the likes of people whom we are aware. And the other, he has grouped with other political parties. And that's a new formation where he's going to. So that extraordinary Congress, that Congress which he has called for, is not for MDC. It is his own. In fact, he must march freely from Harvest House and go and establish his own new institutions and leave those who want to follow the Constitution to proceed. That's where we are.
And then my last two questions. Sorry. Okay. Which is the MDC which Tsvangirai left? That is my first question. And then secondly, you talked of constitution. You cannot allow the members of the G40 to just come in and take positions of power within the party. That is not the constitution you agreed to. Are you saying that, are you contesting the candidature of candidates such as Tendai Biti, Washman Ngube, and others who have not yet lasted 5 years within the party?
I think you know the answer to your question.
No, I'm doing it. It's a question which is coming from our live feed.
Yes, thank you very much. I think you know the answer to that question. First of all, we are saying we are MDC Changirai, and we are actually fighting for the legacy which was left by our icon Changirai. So you know where we are coming from. That is the MDC which we're talking about. I know that many people have claimed that they are following that, but we don't care. There is only one constitution which is in the name of MDC. We know. So it has got all the provisions which we're talking about. Now coming to the point or the question which you raised about all these are people who have been infused into the structures of the party. That is against the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution stipulates how a person can actually be brought in or accepted into the party, and the period of rehabilitation which that person requires to do. For instance, we know that for any new person to come into the MDC, he has got to apply for membership at a branch or district level. Those people who you talked about never did that. So they are totally illegitimate. So the process has been abrogated, and this is what we are talking about. And we are happy that the court ruling says that all the decisions which he has made are illegitimate and cannot be taken forward. Because that is the truth. Because the Constitution is there, it gives us ways of doing things. And everybody must subscribe to those ways. If you don't subscribe to those ways, then you are talking about something totally different. It's not the MDC which we know.
Right, thank you very much. Anything to say? Maybe we can come to a conclusion. If nothing, thank you very much. It has been nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.